I think you're all about transformation.
Yeah.
And getting people to feel something is the starting point, is the seed for transformation.
For now, I'll try on the one word, and it's core.
Yeah.
It's a crazy word. I'm like, it's a noun, it's not a verb. Like, what's, so.
It's okay.
But who am I at my core? Who are you at your core? How am I more of who I am at the core, and how do I help?
So that's your process. Like you core everything.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's how you core the workshop, and then you core your relationships, and you core your Instagram feed, and you core everything. You core your whole life. And then that'll inspire other people to want to core. You've turned it into a verb.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just write for me. It's like a portal into the other side. It's a portal into the unknown.
Yeah.
And so it's a way for me to process and be in this world. But it also feels like it's something that would make a difference to people.
So when people hear you say them, or when they read them, what do they say? What do they feel?
They're saying, you got to publish this.
No, but
I don't know what they feel. They get teared up. They go, oh my God. Like, thank you so much.
Okay, but so what are they feeling? Why are they tearing up?
Because it resonates with them inside somehow. And it captures something.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you. Thank you for sharing. I think you're all about transformation.
Yeah.
And getting people to feel something is the starting point, is the seed for transformation. If you're not emotionally committed to change, you're not going to change.
Right.
If you just have a strategy, you're not going to follow the strategy until you have the emotional commitment. If people are reading it, or you're speaking it, or there's lots of different ways. If they're watching a video and it has, and it's causing people to feel an emotion,
Yeah.
that's fertile ground to then lead to transformation. So whether that is in a speaking gig, like these things don't have to exist in isolation. This has been the recurring theme for you of there's professional Anka, and then there's this weird shaman Anka out here doing crazy stuff. This all seems to work somehow, but I'm kind of shutting it down, so I just focus here. We really got to smush those two things together.
Yeah.
So this should not exist in isolation.
No.
So if you're doing a keynote, you bring this in. Like, that's how you can lead the keynote.
Yeah.
Whatever your keynote's about, you have a whole bunch written, or maybe
Yeah, I have one on courage, or resolve,
or maybe a new one flows through you as you're
Yeah.
flying home, getting ready for the keynote.
Yeah.
Right? And then whether you want everybody to close their eyes as you read it out,
Yeah.
Lots of different ways. Maybe everybody reads it silently, and then you just have music in the background. Whatever. And that's the start of that's a weird start to a presentation.
Yeah, I like the weird duckiness.
I like it.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you have moved people, how long did that take? I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute? It's not asking somebody to read a novel. If you get people in the first 30 seconds of your presentation already feeling emotional. So this one might be one kind of emotion, if it's courage that you want to bring out, getting people to feel courageous. If you had people feeling courageous in your presentation, before you've even started your presentation, they can be way more receptive to what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So, you've had success, and you've gotten presentations like this, and it's great just being Anka, but you could have a lot more if you can bring this side in.
Yeah.
Because it resonates so much with you and the people that you've shared it with.
Yeah, I think finally, for now, I'll try on the one word, and it's core.
Yeah.
It's a crazy word. I'm like, it's a noun, it's not a verb. Like, so.
It's okay.
But who am I at my core? Who are you at your core? How am I more of who I am at the core, and how do I help this world live from the core? I have a fundamental belief that people are light inside. And what if we were actually not have walls and moats and everything around that light, or put it in a mine shaft, or we just actually live from that place of light? And what if we could connect to that, and then and then show up in this space together? We wouldn't be beating each other up. We will be empower instead of overpowering. And to me, one thing that came earlier this morning was that over here, that the sort of more business side is about empower or empowered, and on the core word, I mean, core is, I think, all of it. Maybe it's power, personal power, like on that side. Like, how do you really?
Okay, so through the book process, I don't know if you've gone through it all yet, but
Not yet.
You change the word from just the word into the hashtag. And the purpose of doing that is because a hashtag stands for something. When you write hashtag entrepreneur, it stands for something. And so hashtag core means something. It can become a verb. You need to core your presentation. It now has a life as a verb. It is action-oriented. You've turned it from a noun to a verb. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And then underneath that, you get to define what core means to you. There's a common definition that the public would look at and say, here's what core means. But for you, there's also going to be other things to it that might make sense looking at it, but it wouldn't be a default thinking. So what is core? What would core mean to you? You have to pick three different ideas of what core means.
Yeah, core means light. Core
Light?
Light.
Light?
Yeah, light, shining light, like, you know, like.
Great,
I really
write it down.
Light. It means integrity.
Okay.
I think integrity and authenticity is close for me, the same.
Okay.
Light, integrity, and crazy, divine.
Great.
Yeah.
So you came up with it super quick. It's great. Some people take a long time to go through that process. But now if you're saying, if you ever feel unhappy, it's because you're out of congruence with those things.
Yes.
Light, authenticity, divine,
integrity. Yeah.
If the people around you are not these things, you're going to be unhappy.
Right. Vice versa, when I am with people that are more like this.
Of course.
Which is when I'm here.
Yeah.
With
Right.
And the tribe. Right?
Yeah.
I go, shit.
This is great. We're
With the
core.
tribe. Yeah.
So then now if you're looking at, okay, I want to core my workshop or my keynote coming up, how do you incorporate these things in a way that makes sense? So light is one that I wouldn't think of, but can make sense. So what's the lighting in the room? Do you want to have the lights all the way up? Do you want to have like a spotlight on you? Like if light's important, how do you show that in a visual way while you're doing your keynote?
Yeah, there's light in the environment. There's also a light for the people. So how do each person ends up feeling like a light is on them? Like there's some partner work I think we can do.
Great. Everybody's got a cell phone. They have a flashlight.
Yep.
You know, do you want, while they're listening to the poem, or did you call it a poem or the?
Yeah, for now, I'm working
right,
word.
Whatever. While they're listening to the poem, maybe you say, hey, everybody, I want you to pull out your phones. I want house lights off.
Yeah.
Everybody pull out your phone and turn on the flashlight and raise it to the sky. And then you read the courage poem. That's a pretty wild experience, right? No, who does that? Nobody. And maybe that's bang on, I love it. Or maybe you hate it, I don't know. But you brainstorm off of
that.
How do I bring more light into my workshop? Because you want people to feel the light having left your keynote.
Yeah.
And you're one of, at this keynote, there's a whole bunch of other people speaking and other things that are happening at this event. This is now you're giving people a memorable experience, not just dumping knowledge on them.
Right on.
So so to core something is to bring light. Okay, great. So that's one way to do it. Maybe there's another one. Just asking the questions, your brain will just get to work to figure out cool things that you can bring.
My brain will definitely work.
Exactly. But you have
I have a structure.
You have the structure to play within.
I just need a structure.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
And then leaning in on the weird ideas.
Right.
Like, for something like that, you have to go and say, I need to be able to turn off every light in this room.
Yep. They're going to go, what the f did we hire you for? But yes,
Yeah.
totally I agree.
Yeah, but then they're going to feel it, right? And
then they'll know.
yeah, then they'll know.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you read your poem.
Very good.
Then how do you bring authenticity in?
Oh, yeah, authenticity and integrity. I'm going to ask them to be real about how they feel about change, and how real, and the why of the change, and to just be honest with that. I'm going to have to create the first hour or something safe for them, but then ask them to just first write it and say, you know, what about this thing we're asking you to do? We're asking you to stop working as independent brands and start working together, because they don't have a good reason yet. But like, why would they be working together? They don't know yet. I've got to think that out.
It's okay.
But
And what is divine? How do you bring more divine into a keynote?
yeah, so I would channel beforehand. I would need to be connected and speak from that place.
So what do you do to channel?
Yeah, what I do to channel is I take warrior pose, Joe staff, and then it'll be in me. It comes right through me.
Great. So like, have everybody do a warrior pose before you start.
It's great.
And then like explain.
What?
Are you thinking something while you're doing the warrior pose? Are you just like, what becomes default, normal, automatic for you is really weird. Nobody just does. People don't just warrior pose, you know, in general.
It's such a good thing.
Right. But then you'll have people who will do the thing, and then they're like, what am I doing? And or the people who are thinking about their next business meeting, or like their mind's distracted, which then doesn't. It has to be mind-body connection, right?
Absolutely.
So now you're giving me the body. What am I thinking while this is happening?
Right.
Am I letting go, or am I focused on my courage? Am I like plant the seeds in my head so I know what to do? They could even do the warrior pose while they're like. Imagine I'm on courage. If your lesson is on courage, right? If they're doing the warrior pose, that's already I don't even know what the warrior pose is, but it sounds like a courageous position,
I'm
right?
going to ask you what it would be for you, and then I would get to have you do it.
Oh, okay. We each have our own version of warrior
Absolutely.
pose.
Like, I might have
Got
mine.
it. I'm thinking like it's a yoga move or a statue.
No, it's however you want it to.
You are a warrior. Great.
You are a warrior.
But now imagine if you combine it where like you are a warrior while you hold your flashlight up and light up the room.
Yeah.
Now it's not just shine the light in the room, it's strike a warrior pose
Yeah.
and shine the light. And then you read the poem. Right? Now, and all this doesn't have to take,
No.
the whole thing is like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yeah. But it's memorable. It stand out. And it's mind body. Because I mean, what has to happen, so the 2 hours very clearly is about teaching, but it's very clear for me it has to be about inspiration and experiential. And so how do I do some things in the body? Like I noticed this morning dancing.
Yeah.
How I'm like, okay, what can I do with these guys so that they can actually feel what it feels like to go from not knowing how to step to knowing how to step.
Yeah.
Because that's what you need. You need to know that, you know, it feels awkward and it's going to get less awkward.
Yeah.
Like actually experience a new a set point.
Yeah. That's why I have you guys dancing.
I get it.
Not just because we're in a dance studio, but it's awkward.
It's awkward. And
Nobody comes here knowing how to bachata dance for the most part. And so now you're doing it. And especially for a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
I don't dance, I got 2 left feet. And now like the first thing to be doing is ask to dance.
Yeah, that's perfect. No, it's totally perfect. I mean, I feel slightly as awkward as they do, but totally. I just noticed that this morning. I'm like, okay, I just went from shit to good.
Yeah.
And I want to get great.
Yeah.
And so to instill that in people who are going to have to behave very differently. If these guys, if this company does not behave differently, they're at the end of one S-curve.
Yeah.
They'll be one of that 60% that die within 10, 20 years. They'll be done.
So that's the process. Like you core everything.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's how you core the workshop, and then you core your relationships, and you core your Instagram feed, and you core everything. You core your whole life. And then that'll inspire other people to want to core. You've turned it into a verb.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
We got it. There it is.
Good work.
If you want to spend some one-on-one time with me, I have a special offer happening right now. Go check out the website right next to me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.